Hey guys, welcome to Sippin Spillin with Syd from 3 Mississippi. We made it back. I still got some coolers on the patio that I gotta deal with here on the porch, but we made it back. Um, and we had 4th of July at our friend's house down the road, the actual 4th of July. But man, Freedom Weekend was crazy. We had a wonderful time. We got to hang out with some wonderful family, and we had a blast. And it was fun. It was kind of go 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 a lot of the time. And man, it was hot. Not gonna lie, it was warm. We had a lot of uh, hail and rain there for a little while on day 2, which a lot of you saw in our video and in other people's videos. And it was a little crazy. Mike's back there weed whacking in his garden right now. It was a little bit crazy, and then of course it really made that humidity jump up afterwards. But it was a beautiful weekend. Other than that, as far as the camaraderie and celebrating freedom, and Mike was excited because he got to kind of introduce some of the other people and kids to the pew pew range over there. And it was just a great weekend. It was wonderful food and conversations and laughs and just celebrating everything. There's been a ton of videos coming out, of course, from everybody that was there, as well as the lives while we were all there. I know that Country Road Cure went live. We went live. David from Come On Homesteading went live. Um, I believe Tim went live at one point. I'm trying to think who all went live, but Paragon Ridge Ranch I know went live during the fireworks, and so did DD5. Um, and of course, there's videos coming out. Tree Haven I know did a video. We put a video out on the 4th of July of ours, and it was a great trip. We had a great time with everybody, and it was so much fun. And it was wonderful. And then I guess during David's live, if you missed it, um, you have to go back and check David's live from, I believe that was on Saturday. It might have been Sunday evening. The days kind of blur together a little bit sometimes, but yeah, it was Sunday evening that David went live on Come On Homesteading. And it was sort of decided that we will be hosting Freedom Weekend next year. So we'll have a little sip of freedom down here in Mississippi. And we will, of course, be doing a lot to get the area ready for the campers and for uh, where we want to have some cool things set up for people. And we've got, of course, a year to get it all done and get it taken care of. So plenty of time for all of that. But we've got some really great ideas. We talked about it a lot on the way home because we had a 5-hour drive on the way home. And Mike and I have both been kind of thinking of some ideas of things and kind of coming up with where we wanted to put certain things on the property and what would make the most sense and all of that. So we've got some really good ideas, I think, coming down the pipeline of what Freedom Weekend is going to look like in 2024. And I think we got some good ideas. Of course, we've got a high bar to meet, a high standard to live up to, because David just hit it out of the park. But we got to one up him. We got to one up him. So I've already got some really good ideas for some of how we're going to maybe do that. And I think it's going to be awesome. So, and we'll be sharing those with you guys as we get into those projects, of some of the things that we'll be putting in place and some of the things that we'll be doing once it gets closer. And I know everybody right now is sort of just taking a big sigh of relief that it's kind of, it's over and we enjoyed it, but it's like, whew, okay. Well, of course, now I'm in mode of like, well, we got to do it next year. So I got to think of all the things that I need to get handled and squared away for that. So like I said, I got some good ideas, and I'll be sharing those with you guys over time here. Probably a lot of times here on Sippin Spillin as they come up or whatever. And then of course, as it's a project that we're going to be completing, like we're going to gravel an area in case it rains, so that'll be where we're set up with the canopies and things like that, much like what David did, which we had been talking about doing kind of under this big oak tree. I'll give you that little bit of a spill right there. Um, but yeah, so we've got, and right now, tentatively, we're thinking kind of right along where I'm standing here would be like where all the campers would be. So, which is nice because it's shaded for a chunk of the day. Um, and since we're kind of up on this little hill, we do get a nice breeze through here, even on days when it's kind of sweltering and not very breezy. We still get a little bit of it through here. So this would be kind of a good spot for some of that. So those are my couple little spills I'll give you, but we got some other really good ideas that I want to run by kind of the rest of the family before I say anything else about it to you all. But I'm excited about it, and I love throwing a good party. And back in California, we had the pool and the house was laid out in a way where we had big parties every 4th of July. That was our thing. We did Memorial Day, Labor Day, and 4th of July were like our big parties that we would have. And, some of those parties we would have, 50, 80 people. And I'm used to feeding the masses and having a bunch of people around. Well, this house is not really laid out for having a big get together like that. And we don't have anything set up outside for having a big get together like that yet, but we will in 364 days because this is a leap year coming up. So, 4th of July is like on a Thursday this next year. So we're going to have to kind of change the weekend around, which is another thing I'm going to get with the family about and see how we want to work that, because it kind of falls a little tricky with where it falls. But yeah, guys, super honored and excited, and a lot to live up to have Freedom Weekend here in the SIP. Like I said, we're gonna have a little sip of freedom. We're gonna enjoy ourselves that week, and it's gonna be fun. So I can't wait to show you guys all the hair pulling moments and the stress and everything of us getting ready for that. Of course, we've got a few other hurdles we got to get over here first for the farm. But then I think, come winter time, I'll be able to start really focusing on getting the things done and in place that we would need for July. So that'll give me a good amount of time to get that stuff done. So I am excited, but we have our, as you're seeing this is probably, you're going to probably see this on Thursday, but we have our live tonight. So I'm excited to chat with everybody live, and now that everybody's kind of had a chance to watch a lot of the videos that have come out of Freedom Weekend, and kind of see what everybody thinks, what their take on was it, what their take on it was. There we go, I can talk. And just kind of see how that is, and what people thought, and maybe some of their ideas for things that they noticed that maybe we could incorporate for the following year. I'm always willing to hear new ideas and see if somebody noticed something maybe I didn't, or thought of something that maybe I didn't, or maybe there's probably something that David's going after the fact going, well, man, I should have done this, or I meant to do such and such and didn't do it, or whatever. But I mean, he really pretty much had everything pretty well covered, I think. But I am an organization nut freak, you might say. So there's a lot of things that I'm just like, I'm just gonna have it laid out, and I'm gonna have it like, I'm gonna have my little checklist, and I'm gonna be that person. But that's how I am. So I have to have it all organized and laid out, and who's doing what and when, and all that, just because that's for my own weird sanity, I guess. but yes, I'm excited to kind of get on there live with everybody tonight, and see who all joins in, and what they have to say. Sorry, I'm walking back over here, guys, because number one, it's actually not that hot today. It's not too bad, but Mike is over there weed whacking, and I know you guys can't hear it because I'm mic'd, but I can hear it, and it's annoying me. And so I'm moving over here where it's quiet and in the shade. But we had some good rain here when we did make it back in. We actually had to unload the truck in the rain. But my plants all look good here in the front. They got a nice good drink the other night. And it's actually, I would say it's cooled down considerably. I think it's only like 89 or 90 today, and not as humid. But all my animals did really well while we were gone. And I think this weekend, Mike's talking about Saturday being our first time going to the farmer's market as a vendor. So he's been harvesting a bunch of his tomatoes and his zucchini and his cucumbers. And I think we'll be heading over there Saturday morning. So, and we have to be there really early. So but we get back kind of early because I think it ends, I think it's over at like 9 or 10 o'clock. So I'll have to come back and do all my animal chores. I'll feel like I've had a whole day basically by the time it's like noon. I'll be like, okay, well, I've done everything I can do now, and then it'll be time to get him working on the fencing, whether he likes it or not, because I'm on a timeline now. The puppies are 6 weeks old. That we're getting. For those of you maybe don't know, we're getting a couple of Anatolian shepherds to guard the livestock. They are livestock guardian dogs, and they are 6 weeks old right now, and working on getting them weaned here, and got to have up the fencing so that we can put the goats, so that we can put the dogs out there and start getting them used to, living outside and guarding and all of that, as well as getting Frankie her horse. So, but I can't get any of that in motion until I got my fencing finished over here. So I'm hoping that this week we can kind of get that squared away. He keeps telling me July 15th, weekend of July 15th, that he's going to have all the fencing done. So I'm holding to it. I'm holding to it and hope it gets done because I do, these need a timeline. The other thing that has to happen is we've got Cornish that need processed. So I have a feeling potentially one day this week, I may have Frankie and I just go ahead and knock it out while he's at work, because I don't see him having time on the weekend to do it, because you don't want to do it in the middle of the hot part of the day for obvious reasons. Processing in sweltering heat, you're gonna have meat bees, you're gonna have flies, you're gonna have all kinds of stuff, and there's ways that we know how to keep that down. You set up a fan, you make sure you cover the trash in between and all that, but you're still gonna have pests and bugs and whatever. So and we've done the route before where we process in a screened in tent, which we had, but I think it ended up in the to-go pile when we moved. So I don't have that anymore as far as I know. It could very well be that it's in the shop in one of Mike's situation piles there, but I don't think so. I think it did not make it with us. Could be wrong. I don't know. But I'll tell you this. I think Frankie and her and I could knock it out pretty quickly. There's not a lot of birds, so I think we could probably knock them all out in about 4 hours. And be able to just crank them out, get them done, and then all we'd have to do is shrink wrap them, and that can happen in the house. So that's not too bad, and I think we could knock it out. So I might pick a day, and I've got a lot between now and then too, because the end of this month I'm doing our big year in review video. I'm sorry, I walked into like a spider web or something, guys, and I feel it tickling my arm, and I'm just trying to get it off me. Anyway, I'm working on our big year in review video of our big move from California here and what we've done so far, kind of situation. So I've got my work cut out for me on that one. So that's going to be kind of a big undertaking. I'm going to be locked in my office, going through a lot of footage and piecing it all together for y'all, so that I can make a nice video about all the things we've done so far since we've been here, and hopefully that will take us all the way up to the goats and the horses. Horse being here by the end of this month. So I'm hopeful I can get working on that and get that done and keep up our regular schedule of everything else. I got a little turned around, and that's my fault. I lost track of the days because I was the one kind of scheduling everything. I kind of just had a moment where the hamster fell off the wheel and forgot that we had this week was this week. Like, we weren't on the weekend, because normally Sippin and Spillin, we put out during the week and not on the weekends. And I got a little like off kilter because of like just not realizing what day of the week it was while we were traveling, and realized that I missed 2 at the beginning of the week already. So that was 100% my bad. So I apologize. I normally am much better about that sort of thing, but I don't have to go anywhere for a while. I don't have any trips coming up. I don't have anything weird happening. Just hunkering down here and getting things done. And I should be able to keep up a better schedule for you all on making sure we get our sipping and spillings out and keeping you up to date on what we are doing around here, and pumping those videos out on Through Mississippi of us finishing that fencing, Mike's continued work in the garden. Then we're going to be switching back to finishing up the other half of the coop, which will be the brooder and the feed storage room. And there's a little bit of the soffit area around underneath the roofing that we need to fix there on the coop, especially before winter. And getting some of those final touches done on that is going to be exciting for me. So I'm happy to kind of get rolling on all of that. And it's going to be hot the next couple months because, we're in the hottest part of the year right now, July and August. It gets a little intense, but then we're going to get that reprieve in the early fall. And my plan is to really knock a bunch of things out. Mike does not do well in the heat a lot of times. And we had the same problem back in California where, he just doesn't do well in the heat. He's just not, he gets real cranky. He doesn't like it. It's not his jam. He doesn't do well. So I think that in the fall, I'll be able to get a lot more days of productivity before it gets too cold outside and after it's been real hot outside. I think we'll be able to, there'll be a sweet spot in there of at least a solid month where I think we can just kind of really just hunker down and kind of tick a few things off of the list that I feel are next in line, or that we feel are next in line to kind of get done. So I'm hopeful that'll get started, and then eventually we'll be starting on that barn once we get some of these other things ticked off the list. So lots going on, guys. Now that we're back from the MT Homestead meetup and from Freedom Weekend. Y'all know, especially the moms out there, what it takes to like pack up the family and pack up their food and do the laundry and get the house ready and get the animals ready for you to be gone. There's a lot involved in all of that. So now that we're back and kind of being able to get back into routine, I think that's going to be, we'll be able to kind of settle in and get some of these other things done that we've been these projects that we've been bouncing around on. We'll be able to really hunker down and do them. So I'm excited, guys. I can't wait to get after it because, you gotta get done. Gotta get her done. So we will see you guys next time. And until then, safety's off.